All right, boom. What is up? It's Wire D, and the D stands for Deadlock. Back with another Deadlock guide. This one's going to be covering Kelvin's movement ability, Ice Path. So without further ado, let's get into it. So Ice Path as an ability, we'll read it straight off the top here. You create a floating trail of ice and snow, who cares, that gives move speed bonuses to you and your allies. You and them gain 2 move speed and 2 sprint speed base, and then when you level it with the ability point, that sprint speed goes up to 6. And that also, I'm taking a detour here. That sprint speed applies whether you're on the ice path or you're next to it. You notice the velocity there. I'm not even standing on the ice path, and it goes up to like 500. I think I cap out at 6. Just standing in a straight line here. Yeah, you get that whole move speed bonus just from being near the ice path. That of course lasts until it dissipates. Very powerful aspect of the ability that you don't need to be on the ice path, you just need to be near it to get the effect of it. And this only applies, the move speed bonuses only apply to you and your friends. Enemies can walk on these tiles too, so don't forget that. They just don't get the move speed bonus. Another fun fact about these tiles that we're gonna detour into is their health. So every single tile here, I don't know the pixel dimensions exactly, but they all represent their own individual health bar, or they all have their own health and they can take 2 shots before dissipating. Many spells have weird interactions with how they collide with Ice Path. So for instance, Kelvin's own grenade phases right through it. If I can get the angle on this better, you see it just goes right on through. Not entirely sure what's going on there, but if I take for instance a doorman and I just throw some bells, you can see 1 bell completely kills a tile and actually stops on that tile, unlike, again, Kelvin's own ability, right? Kelvin's one phases right through it. Doorman's one interacts with the ice path. So as you're trailing this ice path, and especially if you're using it as a getaway tool, you can trail up and backwards and kind of create your own like bullet shield, right? You're not going to be taking damage. They're going to be shooting at your ice path. You're getting closer and closer to hitting that sprint speed milestone of being out of combat for like 4 seconds. It's quite often that you will be able to use this as a fairly reliable getaway tool. Okay, this makes you quite fast and hard to shoot at. Another really cool aspect of Ice Path is that it gives you 60% slow resistance while you're channeling the ability, which combos quite well with Kelvin's other ability, Arctic Beam, which slows you for 40% of your move speed. So yeah, it's like if I'm in combat and I'm just trying to run away with the ice path, I have 345 move speed, right? Tanking these creeps, not getting my sprint active. Well, popping my Arctic Beam normally on the ground without ice path is a pretty damning thing. It like significantly hinders your move speed. But when you have Ice Path available, using Arctic Beam and just using it as a getaway tool while you're in combat, like assuming the enemy's gonna hit you anyways, it's almost always best to just flick around, try to beam them while you're running away, because you only lose 10 move speed, as you see, being in combat with them, and you have the opportunity to slow and of course damage them while you're doing this, right, running backwards. So 336 move speed, we jump up to 42 because we're out of combat, we're sprinting, but if we go back in combat and we use Ice Path, we're at 345 move speed. Every time you break line of sight with the creep, you have to re-aggro it. Pop my Ice Path and my Arctic Beam together, I'm only losing 10 move speed, right? And as long as I'm good at the game, I suppose, and I can aim Arctic Beam while moving away, maybe even get some elevation in there, then I can do some pretty nasty things kite-wise. And it's quite powerful. And then you can use we'll say a complex network of movement tricks and understanding of the fluidity and velocity of your hero to control Kelvin in Ice Path. Okay, you really are skating on ice, and it takes some getting used to, I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna wanna practice this in a custom game, but when you get good enough at it, and really, I'll give you some secret sauce tips for it, but when you get good enough at it, you can feel like you're just a master of the map, going around, killing all the boxes in one instance of Ice Path, all the boxes that are within like a 5-mile radius of you, by the way. You could just soar through the map at ruthless abandon, taking very hard to reach nooks and crannies, right? You can like sharp turn around. You're like a car, you're like a bumper car. You're like a bumper car if you're bad, and you're like a slick moped gliding through the streets of New York if you're good, okay? This ability, I want to stress, it has a lot of like skill expression to it. So I guess let's go over that, a little bit of that, right? So you see I have the velocity of my hero pulled up here on the side. You notice if I just keep a forward momentum going, that never goes down. It's only when I bump into shit that goes down, but it can reset quite quickly because Kelvin himself is carrying momentum when he's using Ice Path. So notice, without holding W forward, like without holding W, without going forwards myself actively, Kelvin's move speed decreases, but he continues to press onwards. For this reason, Ice Path also makes you immune to displacement type abilities. So as you see here with a Lash, we have Lash's Stomp, which is with the talent, known to displace an enemy for 1 second before slowing them afterwards. However, if I have Ice Path clicked, and I can get in range of Lash here, and his one hits me, it clearly does connect because it applies the slow, as you see down here. Right, my move speed just returned, but it did not displace my hero whatsoever. I can also prove that with Dynamo. So go over to Dynamo, make Mimic, Ice Path, and he stomps, and his stomp is known for applying a 1 second displacement, but not to me, because I am Kelvin. Even though you see my health is going down, I'm getting hit. And since I know at least one of you are curious, it does not really work with Doorman. It kind of works, but it doesn't really, right? He's not going to pull you the full distance that it shows, but he still is going to push you, okay? Because nothing works against Doorman. It's even kind of hard to hit. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. So pushes me the full distance, have Ice Path on. See, it still pushes you. It doesn't push you exactly the full distance, but it does go down like kind of rapidly throughout the ability. Let me just 1 sec get a bunch of duration giving items to prove my point. Okay, so holding forward, we're gonna get up to max move speed, and then I'm just gonna let go, and we're gonna see your velocity does, it plummets, quite frankly, when you let go of the W key. And I believe this will actually go down to a crawl. This will bring your hero down to a standstill. And so what I understand to be happening here is Kelvin is like put on rails, so to speak. He's like put on wheels. And you're just kind of shoving him in the direction that you want those wheels to go. Okay, it's no more complicated than that. He has very sturdy control, especially of things like his heavy melee direction when he's in the air. But it is ultimately just a cart on wheels, and especially doing things like going up and down, like raising or lowering yourself vertically, is going to take some time if you want to maintain your Ice Path, because you have to hold shift and control to accomplish this. You can actually shove yourself against objects like stalagmites, like objects with a curve, to accelerate your upward momentum or downward momentum, respectively. Like whichever direction you're trying to go, upwards or downwards, you can increase the rate at which you go up by shoving your hero model against curved objects like the ceilings and stairwells around mid and generally within the mid area and the secret shop areas. Sharp turns really are your friend, and you're gonna have to get used to preparing those ahead of time, because the momentum on your hero turning around a corner is not so simple as just making like a perpendicular right angle left or right turn, right? You really have to angle it. You have to lead with the turn. Just in general, I've noticed looking in the direction that you're trying to ascend or descend to helps with that. Camera control is important, and to accomplish this, I prefer just holding W and like doing very harsh camera movements. But by taking sharp turns, a Kelvin player is rewarded with breaking line of sight more often and creating more chances for his 4 additional move speed to kick in via sprinting while he's doing his Ice Path due to the talent and getting away from you. So if all that sounds like bullcrap to you, just know that he's channeling an ability, technically, through creating Ice Path the entire time, and so he's completely countered by, like hard countered by Cursed and Knockdown, or any other stun or interrupt. Yeah, just go nuts with that. Easy game, GG. Last few things to talk about would be the duration of the ice trail. You see it's a static 18 seconds. That is not something that you can influence with duration increases or decreases. As you see, I just sold that item, and even though the ability lasts for less time, the ice trail itself does not. Something else to note is that the 3rd tier, the upgrade that you get, which gives you 1 spirit power per trail, that is influenced by duration. And you can even see the buff on the left side there. So for as long as I'm trailing this, I have the buff lingering, and then once you end it, the buff has a sticky duration, if you will. So duration in general is a pretty goated stat on Kelvin. Oh yeah, and you can mantle up them, and you phase right through them. And for that matter, everyone phases right through them. So it's actually rather easy to get on top of them. You can also very easily, due to the movement speed bonus, very easily initiate a slide maneuver whilst on your own trails. Enemies, a little bit harder for them to do that because they don't have the move speed bonus, but your allies, same thing. So for maneuverability purposes, it could be nice to like make a very easy, straightforward trail to an area that you want to pace back through. I'm thinking especially of like bridge buffs as a good example of that, you know, something you quickly go to, and then once you're done with collecting it, you could just slide your way back down to lane.
They will curse your name.